Welcome, everyone. This is Canada. As always, Daniel and I are together. So, I'm going to give you guys a brief background of today's discussion. Today's discussion is going to focus on two very specific news stories that have broken over a period of time in the United States of America, and they have a very significant connection to Canada, too. Why we are sharing these stories? So, today is going to be. Uh, I'm going to need a lot of time in the beginning to narrate the reports. So bear with me because we need to share the details because the details are horrific. And how criminals are getting caught in the United States of America, criminals that use Khalistan as a cover and are involved in all sorts of nefarious activities, criminals that are intimidating and taking over gurdwaras. And the irony is all of this happens at the Stockton Gurdwara, which is the oldest Gurdwara in North America, the oldest in America. Stockton Gurdwara is literally the first one, and it's so heartbreaking. So so a few days ago, we had this news that had been reported in Indian media and Canadian media. It was first broken by the FBI that they had caught this gentleman, Happy Pacia. He's a very fine gentleman as per this news report. So the news report says Happy Pacia faces 33 FIRs. For those who don't know, in Indian lingo, is first information report. So when a crime is alleged to be committed, you have to go to a police station in India and file in a first information report. Now, for a first information report to be filed in India, as per Indian legal parlance, you need to have a basic locus of like some baseline evidence where the cop feels, okay, I have to file an FIR because there seems to be something off. So this guy did not have one but 33 FIRs, 10 lookout circulars in Punjab for terror, violence and extortion. All right, so he was a wanted gangster turned terrorist who was arrested by the FBI and the US Immigration Department, ICE, and Enforcement and Removal Operations, ERO. He has been alleged to be involved in violence, extortion, and terror-related incidents in 16 blasts. 16, ladies and gentlemen. I repeat, 1-6. He's from Amritsar. Irony, because that's my native place too. He has been named in 33 FIRs, 10 lookout notices have been issued against him. As per the dossier prepared by Punjab police on Pacia, he was accused of orchestrating 14 grenade attacks, one IED blast, and one rocket-propelled grenade attack in the state. The Gaurav Yadav, Director General of Police Punjab, said Pacia's arrest was a major milestone in sustained crackdown on ISI-backed terror networks. Between 2023 and 2025, Pacia played a central role in orchestrating targeted killings, grenade attacks on police establishments, and extortion across Punjab and other states. Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention to the extortion bit, because this is where we are going to be focusing a lot today, because extortion is something that is happening a lot in the country Daniel and I are sitting in right now, in Canada. This is why these cases that happen in India, every single crime that happens in Canada these days is very much connected to a crime that has happened in India, because as Daniel and I have often used the words, and I want to make sure that Daniel, we always call this the Indo-Canadian gang wars. These are Indo-Canadian. The crimes happen in both countries. So I'm going to read further. First, we'll discuss this case. Then we'll discuss the next one, which is the Stockton Gurdwara, the 8 recent arrests. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share some more details about Happy. He's a native of Pacia village, which is in the limits of Ramdas police station in Ajnala, Amritsar. He left India for Dubai on 1st April 2018 and returned on February 4th, 2019. He thereafter traveled to the United Kingdom on October 11th, 2020, and moved to the United States from there. The dossier notes that the serial numbers of two Indian passports issued in his name. A blue collar notice was issued against him on January 17th, 2025, and the issuing of a red corner notice is in progress. Pacia was initially aligned with Jaggu Bhagwanpuria and gang, including his US based associates Dharmanjot Singh, Dharman Kahlon, and Amritpal Singh, Amrit Bal. His links with the Bhagwanpuria gang marked Pacia's foray into organized crime, laying the foundation for his subsequent collaboration with Pakistan based Harvinder Singh Rinda, a designated individual terrorist under the Unidentified Activities Prevention Act UAPA 1961, and the most active node of Babar Khalsa International. Now, you guys must know for sure what Babar Khalsa International is. That's a name that often comes up on this podcast when Daniel and I talk about these things. I'm reading this article because this article is probably the best narration of this criminal. That's why I'm reading it. And I apologize for taking so much time to both Daniel and everybody who's watching this.
Read faster then.
Yeah. So the next bit, which was interesting, is the dossier notes that the attacks were coordinated by which are these attacks? These are attacks about an IED plant near Ajnala police station and a police establishment at Kila Lal Singh in Gurdaspur, under the direction of Rinda, the man I have told him. And he is in collaboration with other US based associates, Gurdev Singh, Gurpreet Singh, and Germany based Swaran Singh, along with other accomplices. The Rinda Pacia network has been recruiting minors, often struggling with drug addiction, to carry out terrorist activities in exchange for money and narcotics, it is said. For instance, in December 2024, Punjab police arrested a 17-year-old involved in planting an IED at Ajnala police station, who confessed to being lured into the operation with promises of drugs and cash. This is the man that you see over here that was caught. He was caught by the FBI. 3-4 questions that, and I want to know Daniel's views on this. First of all, how did the Indian authorities let him have two passports? Not one, two passports. That is question number one.
Easy corruption.
Yeah.
Easy. Someone just gave someone a bunch of money in India, and that's why something ridiculous happened. Okay. There.
Second, and listen, you cannot get a visa without in tourist visas, you do not need a police clearance certificate. Unfortunately, a lot of these gangsters, if you have noticed, they come through the student visa route or the tourist visa route. They always take these two, and they don't need PCCs. Like I, as a landed immigrant, I had to go to a rigorous process of getting police verification done in India, where the cops come and actually check you up, look at your records and stuff like that. Not that Punjab police is as honest as Mumbai police. I'm being very open and very honest here, but still, having a PCC as a requirement is far better in these cases than not having a PCC. That is question number one. So the Indian bit is a problem there, where the guy is not only is he flying out of India, he came back after a few months to India, then he flew back out again.
Yeah. Then so, listen, I'll say as a Canadian here, you need sort of we need to institute with India some sort of dual verification on both sides. I think this has always been I thought of this as the general happy compromise, because we have a legitimate problem of, I don't trust Indian vetting as much as I do the Australian state. I just don't, because India is a democracy of 1.4 billion people, and you're right. The downtown Mumbai is completely different than whatever police station is in rural Punjab, and at the 1.4, this is still a country where if someone gives someone $10,000, the guardrails almost certainly will not hold in some rural area or in most places, right? If you have $10,000 cash, you can get someone in the Indian apparatus to clear you on a police check, probably, unless you're such a famous criminal. That there needs to be, for Indian security, and I think also India's ability to sort of project power, whatever, is if there's some sort of, whatever the vetting process is for at least immigration or tourist status or whatever, if it's able to have a sort of a system where like things are also cataloged and checked by some sort of Western authority. So there is some sort of double outside where if there is bribes coming in, at least there's some deterrence where there's some RCMP, CSIS, FBI, CIA, some sort of Western thing where there's a way. I think it would behoove the productive Indian bureaucrats for their allies in a way to have a place to identify corruption and stamp that out, because I think India would benefit from some anti-corruption guardrails, because I think corruption stunts growth. And if you're going to become a world-leading economy, like, listen, no one has no corruption, right? That's the thing, right? So I get Indians being like, here's a Canadian lecturing us about corruption. No, like, well, yes, because like I know it too. Mine is snowy.
No, I'm sorry. India is per capita more corrupt than Canada. What the hell are we talking about?
But it's like corruption is bad. Like you don't want like So I mean, anyone complain like, oh, Canada's corrupt, so whatever. It's like, yeah, Canada might have corruption. Corruption is bad. Like that's what we're talking about. Reducing Canadian corruption, which is the other end of the spectrum here, is if we can work together and have some sort of dual verification to decrease the corruption on both sides gain benefit on some sort of anti-corruption, and in itself, the purpose is to reduce transnational crime. I think that's where we're going. But yes, that's the first question. Sorry, what's the second question?
There are 2-3 things. The man only got caught under the Trump administration. The man was in the United States of America for a while. The FBI knew he was not caught under the Biden administration. That is the most important point. We forget that these dossiers that India was sending, they were sending it to the Biden administration, not to the Trump administration. Trump comes, in comes Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard, and they change the scenario. And suddenly these arrests and these crackdowns start happening. Before that, the previous administration, which was the Biden-Trudeau combination, was very different. Then Trump comes in when Trudeau was there. Canada doesn't change, even when Trump changes. These arrests have all happened after Trump has come in. These are serious problems.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, Kash made a very detailed statement too, Kash Patel, on this very case. He gave a statement and, he was saying that Happy Pacia, as per Kash, was sitting in America and planning attacks on India. Can you believe that?
Yes, I can. I can believe all of this. So can you not believe it? Listen, I'm sorry. You're insulting the viewer now. I mean, I feel like we've done anything in
this is a direct captured. Harpreet Singh, part of an alleged foreign terrorist gang here illegally in the United States, whom we believe was involved in planning multiple attacks on police stations both in India and the United States. Patel wrote on X. FBI Sacramento conducted the investigation, coordinating with our partners locally as well as in India. Excellent work from all, and justice will be done. Listen, keywords again. FBI working with Punjab police. For all those people who say Punjab police doesn't cooperate, doesn't provide evidence, doesn't do this, doesn't do that. Because that's the Canadian argument, right? Punjab police doesn't cooperate. Punjab police evidence does not work. It is never sufficient. How do we now that's
you can make it. Listen, here's the story of life. You can make anything happen you want to happen, especially if you're a government or a government agency. You can make anything happen that you want to happen, but the incentives of government is often to make nothing happen. So often they want nothing to happen, so they make
why
nothing
will
happen.
they arrest Khalistanis in Khalistan?
Khalistan, not Zindabadding right now. Khalistan's going through a bit of a mortabad. It's kind of bad. All right, but that aside, and listen, if Canada wants to find good evidence from Punjab police and put pressure, listen, if you put pressure on Punjab police to give up criminals they're doing in Canada, and you work with like Indian side and your side and you push, it will happen. And if you try and be obtuse and spin around in circles, that will also happen. My experience with India and Indians is you can do anything you want to them. That's kind of their problem and their strength, right? Some people just come and like invade and like kill, and it's like, this is a problem, and they kind of just like get away with it, right? Well, I mean, you did shoot back at them this time. I'm proud of you. But you can also just come to India and be like, don't kill Indians, and then they're like, woo, and then you can just like, no one's going to stop you from doing anything you want in India, right? So if you want to find the terrorists and arrest them, you can do that. If you want to cooperate with the terrorists and whatever, you could do that. All of it is possible if you're the Canadian government. You have the ability to do things like you have magic white boy powers. You can put on a suit and then you just roam around, and like you can then go into the police station and be like, okay, let's have 2 functioning countries. Let's do our jobs. And they'll be like, yeah, this. Or you can come in and be like, oh, Hardip Singh Najjar said Amrit Shah is hiding behind, your turban. Where is he? Oh, no, sir. I don't know, sir. Show me, and then nothing happens. So if you want to make things happen, this is, I mean, it's every political conversation just boils down. It's the same thing I always say. We don't need new laws. We need the will to enforce the laws in the book. I'm sure Canada and India, if we look through enough, if we have a super AI, right? We have a non-insane version of AI that's actually super good. Go through all the Canadian and Indian laws. I'm sure we could pick out something of like, if you just did this, this, and this, and this, and you did this, 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 and this, done, right? It's just who has the will to do those things. Almost no one ever. But now Trump has the will. This is the massive change in the world. Trump is a crazy person sometimes, but Trump has the will to do things sometimes, which is a major wrench in the calculus. And in this case, he wants to deport criminals and foreign national gangs and terrorists and whatever, and have the FBI break up these things. And that's good. And, the Kash Patel and the FBI, Kash Patel clearly understands the Khalistan issue. I think you have India would be pushing for, hey, like, we'll cooperate on Khalistan and this transnational, and we'll take back criminals. You see, we'll take back illegal immigrants. We'll cooperate with you on immigration, right? If we're actually going after the bad guys, we'll cooperate and salivate, because now there's will, right? There's will for the Indians. There's will for the Americans. There's will to get things done. So they are doing them. And that's why things are happening. And when it comes to Canada, there's no will to do anything ever. Although I do, except for Mark Carney and Doug Ford, they are winners. One of them wanted to run Canada, one of them wanted to run Ontario, and they do run it. What do they do with it? Who knows? But they are running it, and congrats to them.
Now the next story. This one just blew my mind. This latest bust that has happened. So I'm putting up a thread by journalist V. I mean, I saw this entire press conference myself of this is the San Joaquin County Sheriff. It was a joint press conference. It was not just the county sheriff. It was FBI and many others. But it's crazy what these people have done. All right. So these guys, obviously the briefing was there. There was an FBI special agent, Patel. You remember the guy who the Khalistanis were trying to dox or intimidate on social media a few days ago? I don't know if you caught that story. You remember, it was doing rounds. It is this guy. They were intimidating him for doing his job. Mm-hmm. This guy. These are the 8 Muppets that were caught. So just listen to Sid Patel. He says Gurdev Singh wanted an RPG attack on a police station in India and arrested earlier this year on March 25th is good friends with the main accused, Pavitr Singh. This is Gurdev Singh. All right. County police was upset that Gurdev Singh made bail after arrest by local law enforcement due to lax California laws. But the moment he was released, there were ICE agents waiting for him outside. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the key difference between the United States of America and Canada. So yes, they had a lax law. Now let's pause over here in this story. They had a lax law. California is Canada. Yeah. California is Canada, right? But you had the rest of the country where ICE was ready. No bail. We catch you, we put you in again. That's how you deal with criminals. This is what we don't do in Canada. We catch
put criminals people in jail, but Kushal, that's racist.
Jails are racist?
Yeah. And not having jails is racist, and putting people in jail. No. The argument for jails is racism. Jails make racism because racism causes crime. So by reducing the police, we have less racism. Therefore, crime will reduce, and criminal justice system is racist. So yeah, if we get rid of jails and police, then we'll fix crime. Zoran
Listen,
Mandani for mayor.
listen to this quote from the sheriff. Quote, I know this group of criminals was terrorizing you, and this was a message to the Indian community. But I know you are hesitant sometimes to contact law enforcement. But without you and without your involvement, we may not have brought this group of animals to justice and stopped them from continuing to victimize your community and others.
Speak up. Oh, I can't. The amount of demons that the Hindu community creates in their own mind, right? There might be bad guys out there trying to hit you with sticks, but the majority of bad guys are in your own head. You can talk to the police. You can do things. You don't have to be me going into the middle of a Versace Day parade in Surrey and saying like, hey, everyone, what's up? But you can be like, hey, I see something. I'm calling the authorities and putting it on the record. Stop being so afraid of everything.
Now, I want to read their names, these criminals. But see, these bits of information are very important for our viewers and listeners. In this case is so scary. By the way, they have killed people in the United States of America as I'm sharing this this bust.
Mhm.
Some fathers and mothers have lost their children because of these monsters. 8 individuals arrested are Dilpreet Singh, Arshpreet Singh, Amritpal Singh, Vishal, no name given, Pavitr Singh, Gurtaj Singh, Manpreet Randhawa, Sarvjeet Singh. Each suspect was booked into the San Joaquin County jail on various charges: kidnapping, torture, false imprisonment, conspiracy to commit a crime, preventing, dissuading a witness, assault with a semi automatic firearm, threats to terrorize, felony gang enhancement. Additional weapons related charges included possession of a machine gun, illegal possession of an assault weapon, manufacture sale of a high capacity magazines, manufacturing a short barreled rifle, carrying a loaded unregistered handgun. And the freaking thing just doesn't end. It doesn't end. This was all
Yeah, they got a
narrated.
bunch of gangsters. These are a bunch of Khalistan related gangsters. These are the things we talk about. And
Now, how do we prove that these guys are gangsters who are related to Khalistan? See, everything has to be backed up with evidence. And this is the evidence. And they are so shamelessly brandishing this. Pavitr Maja gang in SFJ events in California over the past 5 years. These are the same individuals with Khalistan flags. This is the guy who got arrested. These are the guys. Look at this. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, when I say time and again, stop looking at Khalistan as a freedom struggle and start calling it what it is. It's a freaking racket. It's a racket. It's a gang racket. It was the same shit back in Punjab where my family was getting tortured. It is the same shit in North America, in the United Kingdom, in Germany, in Italy, wherever they are. It's the same shit everywhere. It is not a freedom struggle. It's gang warfare, it's ransom, it's torture. And you know how they do it? Now let's talk about this. So, this was such a fantastic thread by another handle, by the way, a British Sikh, not an American Sikh. So, this one explains the Stockton Gurdwara. All right. This Gurdwara in California has been it is established in 1912. It is one of the oldest in US. Probably the oldest. I'm not sure. Okay. It has been a place of worship and it has helped the diaspora forever. Look at how old these photos are of the Stockton Gurdwara. Like how much these things mean. It's interesting how women were dressed so differently than the Sikh women. Notice the clothes. It has changed so much. Like that is for me a cultural bit. And look what they've done. This is the Stockton Gurdwara now, which is now talking about
nature.
There is always a Canada connection. Always. Khalistanis like Major Singh, this is another Nijar, and Sabbi Singh have been associated with activities at the Gurdwara. The connection between the Gurdwara and Khalistani organization SFJ has led to escalating tensions within the community. This is Major Singh Nijjar with gangster Pavitr Singh. And this is, I think, the other gentleman that he talks about. And now, obviously, they are talking about guess who. Canadians should listen to this because it is with subtitles, and it's very important to listen to this because they're talking about a Canadian terrorist attack in an American Gurdwara in California, Stockton. Listen to this. The subtitles are there so you can read comfortably.
ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਹਾਦਤ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਨਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਵਾਕਿਆ ਹੀ ਗਦਰੀ ਬਾਬਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਾਂਗ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਲ ਤੋਂ ਮੁਹੱਬਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੰਟਰੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਸੁੱਖ ਆਰਾਮ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਵਾਂਗੂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਬਣਨ ਲਈ, ਉਸ ਦੇਸ਼ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਆਜ਼ਾਦ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਹਾਦਤ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਕੀਤੀ। ਮੇਰੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਤੋਂ ਮੁਰਾਦ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਭਾਈ ਤਲਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਪਰਮਾਰ, ਬੱਬਰ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਬੱਬਰ ਦੇ ਜੋ ਚੀਫ ਸਨ, ਜੋ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੱਬਰ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਲਹਿਰ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਕੰਟਰੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹੁੰਚਾ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਲਹਿਰ ਬਣਾਇਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਹਾਦਤ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਰਪਿਤ ਅੱਜ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੁੜ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਾਂ। ਆਓ ਉਸੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਮੰਨਦਿਆਂ ਹੋਇਆਂ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖ ਮਿਲੇ ਤੇ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਹੱਥ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਵੇ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰੇ ਜਿਸ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਵਾਸ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਹਨ ਤੇ ਮਨੁੱਖਾ ਜਨਮ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੈ। ਆਓ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਫਤਿਹ ਸਾਂਝੀ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੇ ਗੱਜ ਵੱਜ ਕੇ ਆਖੀਏ ਜੀ।
They're celebrating Talvinder Singh Parmar, the Air India bomber, in a Stockton Gurdwara. Still, the United States of America, when push came to shove, caught each and every element, and they are not going to stop. They are going to nab each and every one of them. But can we deny that these problems are created by Canada for America?
You can. I mean, the Khalistanis movement has purchased in California too, and is growing in other parts of the West. So I think definitely Canada is an accelerant, and Canada might definitely be the Western home of this. But as you see, Khalistan as a, it's something that will take root if you have a broken society and broken law enforcement and moral compass. So Canada, California, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, where you start to get woke. I mean, yeah, I think Canada plays some part, but also I do think, listen, had Kamala Harris been president right now, wouldn't it make things a lot worse? So everyone's got to be responsible for themselves. The reason, I think Trump in America is responsible for the decrease of Khalistan on the continent, and Canada is definitely in large part responsible for an increase in Khalistani nonsense. So yeah, I mean, this Canada and America are going to come to a head on this because it connects to everything that is rhetorically attached to Trump. What does Trump actually want in a trade deal? Who knows? What do we know? Whatever. Okay, that's anyone's guess. But rhetorically, this will all play in at some point, or at least I think this has some gravitational pull towards a Trump administration. So we'll see.
So here's the thing. This is my analysis. I want to know your views. Trump might be many things. I have never hidden that I'm not a fan. Never hidden it. I never hid it in Trump 1.0. I'm never hiding it in Trump 2.0. But I like to compartmentalize my personal like or dislike for someone when I am analyzing a policy. Trump has done many good things when it comes to cracking down on illegal immigration and many other things. Trump is literally the reason this is being cracked down upon. There's no other reason. Trump. If there was a democratic setup over here, this Khalistan issue would have been even bigger, even more problematic. And I am glad that it is going away. One of the reasons, in my view, Trump is doing a lot of this is because Trump wants a trade deal with India. And I think we're going to have a trade deal between India and America in the next 2 months. It's going to be a significant geopolitical change. Trump goes on talking about Operation Sindoor and how he created the peace. That's just Trump being Trump. Let him be what he does. And India has a very mature way of dealing with these issues. India usually doesn't get perturbed by it. It's going to create a lot of problems now. Just today, the parliament session, the rainy season parliament session has just started in India, and parliament is going to be on fire because of Trump and his statements. But beyond a point, Indian foreign policy is very consistent, and I think one of the bargains that India is going to get out of Trump for this trade deal is going to be you crack down on these elements. There are two losses for us here in Canada. A, we are not cracking down on these elements from a criminal perspective, right? From a crime perspective. Like, let's just look at this. In the last 10 days, Dan, we've had the shooting at Caps Cafe and two more shootings that Samir Kaushal has reported on. Just today, we heard the news at shots fired at a Paris Payal Business Center. The police says they discovered the damage at around 1 a.m. on July 21st. No injuries reported, but shots were fired. Shots fired at businesses. Notice the pattern, Dan. Why we shared all these criminal activities is one of the major aspects of these criminal activities was these kinds of extortion rackets, shooting, and for us
So
who are
you're putting it out there, and I think there's another element to this too, because I was there covering the Caps Cafe, and I was there and I saw the mayor, and I've kind of followed the rhetoric around it. All these extortion things, the Khalistanis network, let's say, of influencers and my fans online, the narrative they're trying to go out is they're trying to actually link all these different shootings to a wider extortion racket. And that's what they've done instead of and to sort of individualize them, but they're essentially blaming the entire extortion racket. Like Patrick Brown, WSO, all of them are going as this is the Lawrence Bishnoi gang, right? So this is how it's being played in Canada. So there's a flood the zone about stories and government officials making statements about the Lawrence Bishnoi gang, and then they're washing Khalistani crime. So all the Khalistani crime that happens in their extortion racket, they then categorize that as part of the wider problem, which they then label as the Lawrence Bishnoi gang, right? So this is how they launder their own crimes. This is crime laundering. This is Canadian economics 101. Oh, kids, come in. Let me teach you an economics of Khalistan and Canadian economics. How to Khalistan? Well, you have Indians and you want to hate them. So what you do is you start with a lot of Indian hate, and you start to hate Indians and Hindus, and that's how you Khalistan. Now, the problem is people don't like discrimination. They don't like anti-India discrimination. But what do? You are an enterprising businessman, so you create South Asian hate. See? Because when you hate Indians, they get to hate you back. So if you're from Pakistan or you're from wherever in South Asia, and you get to call the whole thing South Asian hate, you get to hate on the Indians. They then get to hate you back. You get to pretend that's all white people doing and it's all outside hate. Then the numbers go up. You then get to go to the government and say, look, South Asian hate is getting out of hand. My name is Khalistan v. Khalistan. Give me money to fight South Asian hate. And then you get money from government. That makes you more efficient at going out and hating people who are in South Asia, which would be Indians. And then you hate them more, and then they come back at you. And then you go to the government and say, look how bad South Asian hate is. We need my center for, Tawinder Parmar studies. We need the Tawinder Parmar School of Peace and Friendship, right? Give me money for the Tawinder Parmar School of Peace and Friendship to then teach kids about peace and friendship. Then you get the money, and then you get the school. And now you can grant visas. And now you bring in more people to do more hate of Indians, which you then call South Asian hate. And then you have a Khalistan. This is how you become a
This
Canadian
is the
millionaire.
statement from the Surrey mayor. And I want to read this. I want to read this in totality, Dan. And when I read this for the first time, I literally felt like punching the wall. This is the mayor of Surrey saying, a recent shooting at a local business was brazenly filmed and posted online by an individual claiming responsibility. This act was meant not only to harm its direct victim, but to terrorize our whole community. It is
Yes.
intolerable. Oh, wow. Thank you, Captain Obvious. It is intolerable that legitimate news content is blocked on some social media platforms while videos glorifying violent crime circulate freely. That's why I'm calling on
Okay.
Meta, X, and TikTok and other social platforms to stop allowing violent criminals to weaponize your networks against the people of Surrey. Are we really that stupid in this country?
Yes. That's not a rhetorical question, but the answer to that is yes. And this is, I mean, what I posted is this. What I said to her is like, okay, there's something in there of like, okay, you don't want violent criminals to like use social media to network and like.
I understand that.
Sure, but like
We don't show terrorist videos.
But the mayor of Surrey is perfectly fine with Hamas propaganda circulating freely throughout the ether. I'm more than reasonably certain of that. So I don't think this is a consistent principle. But I have a creative strategy. When someone posts and takes credit for a brazen crime that happens in the community, you know what I like to do? Arrest them. Arrest the person that did it. You want to stop crime? Arrest them and put them in jail. Am I, you think I'm onto something? Am I wrong?
Arrest them?
Arrest them, put them too.
Here's the evidence of the Pavittar gang, okay? All right. This is, again, great reportage by journalist V on Twitter. Go follow him. He covers this beat very well. All right. They were arrested in California, but they are present in Canada and New Zealand. And this is a review of their social media. Just a short clip I want to play. I'm not going to play the music. Just regular folks doing regular things. Saskatchewan. You see the plate? Just regular folks in Auckland, New Zealand doing regular things. Oh, my freaking Lord.
I mean, to an American, this is just shooting guns.
But they got caught in America.
All right. What was the PMG 43? What's that? Is that a
Pavittar Majha gang. Majha is the area of Punjab. So they are from Majha and they are Pavittar Singh's gang. Pavittar Majha gang. PMG.
Okay, so yeah, now when you're posting with weapons under your gang name, that's a different thing than just firing guns. Okay. Continue.
So the question over here is that, and FYI, his charges have been upgraded with intent to rape. It was revealed that they kidnapped an adult male, stripped him naked, and tortured him. Again, don't trust me. This is actually reported. His charges have been updated. These are the people that we are allowing for, and it's very important for us to explain that. I keep on repeating this. Khalistan is no longer or was never a movement meant for a Sikh homeland or anything. Surveys after surveys, Indian Sikh wants to live with India. Pew Research. You name the research company, they have done their research. They like India. You ask a Sikh, is it okay to hate India? An overwhelming number says, no, are you crazy? It's not okay to hate India. I love India. And most of that transfers over here. But yes, it will be, the number over here might be less compared to India. That I'm willing to concede. Because the level of brainwashing in the Gurdwaras over here is off the hook. It's unhinged over here. And these people, what they do is their modus operandi is very simple. They take over the Gurdwara. That's their place to take over. They manage this music industry. They threaten the musicians. Sidhu Moosewala was a victim of what? Gangsterism. He was shot in a gangster crime. That's what Sidhu Moosewala got caught up in eventually. Music industry, logistics, this entire nonsense. And they use this, we are victimized, we are freedom lovers, and this and that. They are none. And now prey upon these young kids. I mean, did you see that National Post article where 200 applications? 200 applications were the same. Khalistan flag, 200 applications. Just recently, the National Post reported on it. So why does Canada not like trade? And why does Canada not like normal human existence? Is my question.
After spending time in Vancouver and BC, it makes no, just come to Vancouver or BC, walk around, and you'll understand why Canadians don't understand. Or you're like, oh, are these people asked to make a decision about anything? And you'd be like, oh yeah, they would choose Khalistan. These are the people that would be like, do you want trade deals and economics, or do you want Khalistan? And they'd be like, that sounds interesting. Give me a Khalistan. What is it? I want it. Trade, oil, gross. Ew. No, I'm in for the experience. We're at I talk to 90% of the people. Just talk to any white person here. Just go up to a white person in British Columbia. Be like, hi, would you rather economic prosperity or Khalistan? And they'll be like, yeah, I don't want to be too much judgmental or anything, but we're always pushing for more and more stuff and more things. They're like, why not try Khalistan? Why not? I'll have it for dinner, breakfast, lunch. Look, yeah, let's do that. That would be 90% of the people here. So yes. Well, why would these people not choose? Yeah, talk to them. Go out. Just. I'm going to give you a tour of Canada. Okay, I'm going to start my own Canadian tour company for confused foreigners. It's gonna be called the what? Why the fuck is Canada like that tour? I'm confused, and I genuinely want to know. So I'm going to take you across the country on a 2-week tour of Canada, maybe, and you'll get to know it. You bring your kids, bring your family, and we'll see the sites. I'll give you the history of the country, and then I'll also introduce you to just some of the people and some of the institutions and the uni corporations that run this place. And then we'll talk to anyone in Ottawa. We'll just talk to people in Ottawa. I'll just find Ottawa people, and you'll talk to them. And you'll be like, oh my God, what is this thing? And then we'll take you to British Columbia, and then I'll show you British Columbians, and they'll be like, yeah, do whatever. And then we'll go to Alberta, and they'll be like, can't we just have an economy? You'll be like, oh, I see why you're upset. And then we'll go out east and just hokey dokey, nice, happy pappy, oh, this is Canada, whatever. And then you'll see whatever. And then, Toronto or something, Montreal will have fun. This is and then the answer to all, then you'll never need to answer these questions before, ever again. Never, ever again will you need to be like, why does Canada not want to do this obvious thing? And be like, well, come to British Columbia, meet the white people here. This is Vancouver Island. This is a homeopath. This is a homeopathic doctor in Vancouver Island, okay? I'm introducing you to her. She is going to then say words. You're then going to understand why the country makes no sense. $1 million business idea or $10 million business idea?
Now let's torture you even more. A young Indian man denied refugee status in Canada because his story of being framed for his friend's murder was strikingly similar to 5 people who traveled here with him, and nearly 200 others who employed the same immigration consultant has won another chance at staying in Canada. Asylum narratives are not exercises in creative writing, and a lack of prosaic originality should not be confused for falsehood. But you have to I can't reveal my source, but there have been files that have been given to me that say you will get it, that somebody was a supporter of Aam Aadmi Party. You remember the party of Delhi? when we were there. You remember the
Oh
Delhi
yeah,
elections going
the
on?
one
Yeah.
that had to rally for
And
me.
they're like, somebody says, I am an Aam Aadmi Party supporter. The Congress and the BJP are torturing me. I need refugee status in Canada. I'm actually
Oh,
seeing violence.
should I try and claim refugee status? Should I take that video and try and claim refugee status? Oh my god, that'd be so funny. Oh my god. Oh, that's the best idea ever. Okay, guys, we're on a quest. I'm gonna see if I can get all the stuff refugees get. Can I get a hotel room? Can I get 8K a month? I'm gonna declare refugee status from India as being a member of the Akali party. Use that video as like I am, and making the thing. And Modi is after me. He's chasing me. Modi is chasing me. He's running after me. And he's got a big wooden like a rolling pin, and he's gonna give me a whacking. And I'm here. Can I have refugee status? We should see if we can get me refugee status and how much money I can get from the government to be a refugee.
Now, I want two more things that I want to discuss, which are nothing to do with this, but are everything to do with Canada. Tamara just shared this screenshot on Twitter.
Tamara Lich, right?
Yeah.
For those
7 years?
Yeah,
7 years?
Yeah, she was one of the organizers of the Freedom Convoy.
And serious gangsters don't get caught and post bail, and she gets 7 years?
Yeah.
What is this country? Is this a serious country?
No, it's not.
Disgusting.
It's an anarcho-tyranny. Kushalmehra, welcome to the anarcho-tyranny that is Canada.
This is disgusting. See, I don't care whether you support the truckers' convoy or not. Forget that. 7 years? I mean, everybody should be ashamed. If this is not a travesty, what else is? Shame on these people. Seriously, shame on these people. Shame on this. And I have to share this. Okay? I was the only guy who had a problem with it, apparently. Me and Darshan.
Mm-hmm.
The only two guys who had it. So this is Anita Anand. As we wrap up an incredible year with my Oakville East Youth Council, I was grateful for the chance to meet up with these dedicated community leaders. Your voices make a real impact, and I'm inspired by your commitment to getting involved at a young age. To our amazing Youth Council members, thank you for your leadership and energy. I'm already looking forward to the events and ideas that next year's Youth Council will bring. This is the Youth Council, ladies and gentlemen. Do you see something missing here, Dan?
Is this a trap question? What's this?
There's not even a single white person in this. I found that offensive. Look at this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a picture of Canadian politics in a liberal office. Was I supposed to be looking for a white person in a liberal politician's youth movement seminar? Blah 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 blah. Was I supposed to be looking for that?
This is disgusting.
Did you expect to see one?
Okay. All right. The population of Oakville East, all right, European is approximately 56,000. East Asian 17, South Asian 16,000, Middle Eastern 6,800, Southeast Asian 2,700, Latin American 1,800, Indigenous 520, other multiracial is 2,585. All right. The biggest and the total Oakville East constituency would be 100,000 people, give or take. Is Anita Anand telling me that I find it deeply offensive as a Canadian, deeply offensive that you have a youth council representing where more than 60% of that area is white children. I don't want quotas, but not one white kid. They could not find one white youth leader, not one.
So let's defend it. This is youth leadership in politics, and their value is on diversity. and there is a certain value within the Canadian economy, which is a single corporation dressed up as multiple corporations. Sometimes it's a monopoly, sometimes it's an oligopoly. It's generally phasing, whatever, it phases in and out with the political party. So the most effective community organizers you have in these systems are the BIPOC people of color. So you want to recruit the best. So you get the highest value students in there. And in that case, like brown beats white, and then you go, okay, there, that's you're making youth cancel, and plus you've also set this pace, so probably a lot of white kids would be dissuaded from general liberal politics these days. You have a bit of a feedback loop there, and there's where you go. Now, I would say this thinking is flawed, and you should have a general meritocracy and inspire the best kids. That would give you the best result out there. But this is doing that. This is, I mean, listen, there's benefits and there's drawbacks to giving like sort of baseline credentials, right? This is like, it's the same like pretty privilege. What is it? It's like, yeah, listen, if an attractive woman is interviewing someone on a camera, it's going to be more captivating than an ugly woman interviewing someone on camera. Statement you could be canceled for in 2017 that no one cares about these days, right? That's just a general fact of life. In the same way, like if I spoke Hindi, okay, if I just spoke perfect Hindi, okay, and then I went to India, would I not be the most like best, recruiter? He'd be like white, speak English, then speak Hindi, because it's a rarity. Wouldn't I, by default and just by razzle dazzle coming in, I could have some of that. Oh,
razzle dazzle. I like the razzle dazzle.
Right? Because like, you feel more comfortable in politics being recruited by a minority in Canada. If you're trying to recruit someone, if you're trying to recruit an old white person, okay, you're trying to recruit an old white person in Canada who's predisposed to being liberal, to join your party or the NDP or commit or draw money or draw people in. If you're talking to a black kid or a brown girl or an Asian, whatever, and she's saying, come join my thing, you as an old white person feel more comfortable, with a young black man being like, I agree with your politics, sir. Wow, you're being so brave, than you would be to say that to a white boy. Now, you could say this is cultural inversion, and I'm sure the white nationalists, like, are not having an easy time with this. And all fairness, like you could say, this creates problems. I'm just saying this is where the market is in liberal politics. So I would never expect to see a white boy. I would not expect to see more than 5% white representation in urban liberal youth caucus leadership in Canada. When there's access to minorities and the parties and whatever in Canada puts a sort of bounty on minorities, I would just expect that, because that's the corporate one monopoly, oligopoly, Conservative Party, Liberal Party, Uniparty, whatever you want to call it, sort of thing. Like that is sort of the Canadian ideal, isn't that? Now, I appreciate your shock and horror at the stupidity of all of this. I'm not defending all of this. I'm just saying it's not, I'm just trying to explain why this is what it is and why I was not shocked to not see Anita Anand with a nice young white boy named Malcolm.
One more news I wanted to share. Quebec woman who left Canada to join ISIS pleads guilty to terrorism offense.
Oh my God, they do 2 whole weeks in jail. Terrorism? 2.5 weeks?
Please read this. After a joint submission from the Crown and Defense, a judge agreed to sentence Choi to a 1-day jail sentence. I repeat, 1-day jail sentence, which is in addition to the 110 days she has already served in pre-trial custody. She was also sentenced to 3 years of probation.
Just a little bit of ISIS. Do a day in jail.
Who's this person? A Canadian citizen admitted to traveling to Syria to join ISIS, knowing that she would be expected to marry an ISIS fighter and raise children, quote, under the ISIS doctrine. She was not suspected of participating in any direct terrorist-related combat activities. Are we fucking kidding ourselves?
Yes.
Is this a fucking joke?
Unfortunately, no. I thought she had to spend 2 weeks in, you could say maybe.
This woman will be around Jewish communities,
Yazidi communities, and she's going to breed jihadi children. That's her job. That's what she went to do, and that's what she's going to do here. Instead of breeding, strong jihadis in Syria from a good stock fighter, a good ISIS fighter, she'll find a nice ISIS, the closest thing to Canada that she can get to an ISIS fighter. She'll marry him and make as many ISIS fighters as she can.
She gets probation for 3 years for joining ISIS. Probation. What is this country? Like, is this a country?
Mm-hmm.
I got the shock of my life when I read this report.
Mm-hmm.
And Montreal has a serious problem. I've been following. See, I was not paying a lot of attention to stuff in Montreal is because freaking, Ontario and British Columbia ate up most of my time. And then I started following the work done by, Rebel News and in Alexandra in particular. I was just following up on her work, and holy shit, Montreal is a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, open intimidation. I can tell you one community that will assure you what happens next. Actually, two. The Jews and the Hindus.
Yeah. You don't know about the Quebec. You just found out of Quebec. I keep forgetting. You don't know just how ridiculous the French are. I
don't follow them because just say no to French.
Just say no to French. No, I appreciate that, and that's what we should all be doing. Let me enlighten you on the French a bit more. We've always had organized crime in Quebec, just always. Okay, so Canada is not a place that had organized crime and things used to be better and whatever. Like, yeah, you had the Hells Angels and normal levels, but Canada was not a place known for organized crime. Quebec always was. We always had the mafia in Quebec. Okay, the mafia is considered a Quebec institution because it speaks French, and therefore it must be protected. This is kind of the law. So even though the Quebec Mafia will extort and be mafia and do crimes in Quebec on Quebec people, they do the crimes in French, so it's a good thing. All right? And our permissive attitude towards organized crime in Quebec has hindered our ability to fight organized crime everywhere, because we have to let Quebec have organized crime, because no one has the fucking balls to stand up to Quebec and say, no, you can't have organized crime running around. Like, we're actually going to put these people in jail. So every Quebec project we do is organized crime, and it's bad for the country. So when the Canada had the Olympics in the 74, whatever, the Montreal Olympics, when I went to Quebec, the Quebec Olympics, tons of money was thrown into a pit. It was extorted. The Quebec construction companies, why is Quebec road quality so bad? Because they use bullshit fake concrete in the concrete, because it's all mafia bullshit contracts. Because when it breaks, right, it's mafia tactics. Oh, you need to pay me to fix it, right? It's all organized crime. So we've had a massive organized crime problem in Quebec, because in Quebec, to spite the rest of Canada, you're allowed to do whatever you want if it's in French. And like, I remember this. I used to, when I was in university, okay, so 2008 to 10, I remember I would visit my friends in Montreal. They went to McGill. And like around the block from his place, which is downtown Montreal, it's McGill. Okay, so this is real estate before the country, when the country was still a place run by Stephen Harper. There was like this auto shop that was like always kind of closed down. And there was like this super fancy car, let's say a Lamborghini, like parked outside. And like no one was ever working there during the day. And you'd be wondering like, oh, I wonder what they do here. Crimes, I found them. Like it's so like I found them. Hello. That's a money laundering, right? But je suis de la bibliothèque. Est-ce que je peux aller à la toilette? Do as much crime as you want. So that's always been the French, and it's driven me crazy. And it's the dairy cartels in Quebec, because They're holding the entire country hostage. And Pierre Poilievre, oh, the big, beautiful dairy supply chain. You know, we have all that, and I hate it. I hate every aspect of it. And yeah, let's just invade Quebec and then take out all the gangsters and criminals and dairy farm cartel, you know, bosses, and then we'll have a country. And then we'll just have a country. We'll just have a country, and it will make sense. And you know, people in BC will stop going to like government-funded parties on a Thursday afternoon, and then we'll have a country. And then India won't be mad at us, and we'll get billions of dollars, and we'll tell China to, you know, calm down with the communism, and then they'll stop trying to invade us. And then we'll just be a functioning country, and it's going to be sick. And then we'll play hockey in the winters, and you'll all be happy. Just drop me in a plane with equipment with my boys and just drop me into Quebec. Go dark. Let me do what I need to do for a week or so. And then let me fix Quebec. Just okay, no airplanes. Just put me in charge of Quebec for a month. Just a month. Let me run the place for a month, and then I'll have the entire country fixed.
So one last thing before we go. So the Globe and Mail reported that the Auditor General plans to probe the International Student Program. My first reaction is a little too late. The Bank of Canada weighed in on the issue. I'm reading directly from the article in late 2023, warning that high immigration was putting pressure on inflation via increased housing demand. Claire Beaudry, a spokesperson for the AG's office, said in an email that, quote, the audit is in its planning phase at this time, so providing information on scope and timelines is premature. The Auditor General is going to review a new $526 million border duty system. And the last bit that I want to read is the data for Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada shows that there were just under 1 million international students in the country last year, but the number of new permits issued fell to about 516,000, down from 681,000 in 2023. The federal government says its plans to issue 437,000 student permits this year. And it is, I sincerely hope that this immigration scam ends, because I'm about to share an image of an email that I got today. It's going to be in Hindi. I will translate it for people who don't understand. And these things destroy lives. This immigration scheme in the last 5 to 6 years has destroyed lives. And my only request from this podcast to this person who has emailed me, because this person and some Punjabi media too, and I was tagged in the same email where Punjabi media and I were mailed together, and I'm going to share this on the screen. It's very troubling to read, but I'm going to read it. He's saying, मैं अपनी कहानी आपको लिख रहा हूं. I am writing my story to you. I'm going to translate every single line. यह मेरे आखिरी समय का लिखा पत्र हो सकता है जिसके बहुत अधिक चांसेस हैं. This could be a letter that I have written in my last moments. It's very high that I might do something to myself. That's what this person is writing. It's taken a heavy toll on me, but I'm still reading it because I get so many such messages. थोड़ा संक्षेप में लिखूंगा, यदि संभव हो तो इसे जरूर फैलाएं ताकि मेरा गुनहगार कम से कम लोगों के सामने आए. I'm writing it a summarized letter, but at least people will know that the people who are the criminals who got me stuck in this mess, they get shamed. मैं दिसंबर 2023 में पढ़ाई पूरी कर ऑन्टेरियो से न्यू ब्रंसविक में एक छोटे शहर में आया जहां पीआर लेनी आसान थी. He finished his education in December 23 and he went to New Brunswick, where in a smaller city apparently PR was easier. मैंने एक ऐसी नौकरी ढूंढ ली जिसमें PR मिलनी निश्चित थी. I found a job where I was eventually going to get my PR. किंतु मेरा समय पूरा होने से पहले विराम लगा दिया गया यहाँ की सरकार ने कि अगले साल खोल देंगे. But before my term could be completed, the law changed and that provision was stopped. कनाडा के इमिग्रेशन मंत्री ने 2024 में PNP, this is a particular kind of immigration. What he's saying is the immigration minister in 2023, where he was working under PNP, उसका कोटा आधा कर दिया गया. So basically the quota of the PNP was made half. तो यहाँ के मंत्री ने 6 महीने पहले आए लोगों को जो कुछ खास प्रोफेशन में थे उन्हें प्राथमिकता देनी शुरू कर दी. सो द पीपल हु वर ऑफ ए पर्टिकुलर प्रोफेशन दे स्टार्टेड गेटिंग प्रेफरेंस. मैं अपनी पत्नी के साथ दिसंबर 23 में से यहाँ हूँ. ही इज विथ हिज वाइफ सिंस दिसंबर 2023. मेरा वीजा खत्म हो चुका है. माय वीजा इज एक्सपायर्ड. पर परिस्थिति ऐसी बन रही है कि मैं 35 वर्ष की आयु में कुछ बहुत अनचाहा करने पर विवश किया जा रहा हूं. My situation is such that at the age of 35, I am being forced to do something that I don't want to do. मेरे लिए वापसी विकल्प नहीं है. या तो मैं ये बोल के कि मैं सिख हूं और झूठा रेफ्यूजी केस लगा लूं. I cannot go back and I cannot say that I am a Sikh and file a fake refugee case. या झूठ का तलाक लेकर किसी और को पैसे देकर शादी करके फ्रॉड करूं. Nor do I want to divorce my wife and do a fraudulent marriage and do stuff like that. मेरा ज़मीर मुझे यह करने की आज्ञा नहीं देता. My inner moral compass does not let me do these things because I am an honest person. दो एक अत्यंत दीर्घ कदम उठाने को मजबूर किया जा रहा है जो कि मैं एक हफ्ते के अंदर उठा सकता हूं. आई एम बीइंग फोर्स्ड टू डू समथिंग दैट आई कुड पॉसिबली डू इन द नेक्स्ट 1 वीक. इसके जिम्मेदार मार्क मिलर ट्रूडो पहले नंबर पर होंगे. द पीपल रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दिस विल बी मार्क मिलर एंड जस्टिन ट्रूडो. फिर न्यू ब्रंसविक का इमिग्रेशन मंत्री जो कि 1500 अतिरिक्त स्थान लेने पर भी यहां 1.5 साल से रहे लोगों की परवाह नहीं कर रहा. और द न्यू ब्रंसविक इमिग्रेशन मिनिस्टर. आखिर में सूजन होल्ट जो कि यहाँ की मुख्यमंत्री है, द प्रीमियर सूजन होल्ट, उसकी निगरानी में यह सब हो रहा है. नाउ आई वांट टू टेक सम टाइम. आई एम गोना से समथिंग इन हिंदी, देन आई एम गोना से इट इन इंग्लिश. मैंने आपका ईमेल पढ़ा. पहली बात, ये जो आपके मन में बात आई है कि मैं भारत नहीं जा सकता, ये अपने दिमाग से निकाल दो. आपके जीवन में कितनी भी कठिनाई हो, कुछ भी हो आपके जीवन में, कुछ भी हो रहा हो, आपकी माँ आपके साथ हमेशा रहेगी. भारत आपकी माँ है. आपका सबसे पहला कार्य ये होना चाहिए कि आपकी आयु 35 वर्ष की है, आपकी शादी हुई है, आपको अपनी बीवी, मुझे नहीं पता आपके बच्चे हैं कि नहीं, आपने इस ईमेल में मुझे नहीं कहा. तो मैं पहले तो आपसे हाथ जोड़ के विनती कर रहा हूं कि अपने दिमाग से ये खुराफाती चीजें निकालिए. भारत में जाने की तैयारी करिए. यहां पे रहने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है. आपको भारत में क्या मदद लगेगी वो मेरे ऊपर छोड़ दो. क्या करना है आपको भारत में जाके वो बाद में देखा जाएगा. पहले ये खुराफाती चीजें अपने दिमाग से निकालो. ठीक है, भारत जाओ. इतना भी खराब नहीं है भारत. भारत जाओ, वहां पे अपना जीवन वापस से शुरू करो. कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. कोई आसमान नहीं टूट पड़ा है, कुछ जमीन नहीं फट गई है. ठीक है, मुझे समझ पड़ता है कि आपने बहुत पैसे लगा के आप यहाँ आए होगे, आपने अपना जमीन बेच दी होगी या घर बेच दिया होगा या जेवर बेच दिए होंगे. मगर इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि आप कोई भी ऐसा कोई कदम उठाएं. तो मैं आपको फिर से नसीहत दे रहा हूं इस पॉडकास्ट के माध्यम से. मुझे मालूम है आप सुनते हो मुझे और आप मुझे ट्विटर पे भी फॉलो करते हो, इसीलिए मैं आपको कह रहा हूं कि ये कोई भी बेवकूफी नहीं करना. भारत जाने की तैयारी करो. भारत में अगर मदद लगेगी, मैं बैठा हूं, देखा जाएगा. 140 करोड़ लोग रहते हैं भारत में. सारे के सारे कनाडा में आने के लिए इतने इच्छुक नहीं है. तो ये करने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है. अपनी बीवी के बारे में सोचो, अपने बाकी परिवार वालों के बारे में सोचो. सो आई एम गोना रिपीट दिस इन इंग्लिश. Life does not end if you don't get successful in Canada. India is not that bad. I mean, I live in India for half of the year too. Daniel has also come to India. He may not live in India, but India is not that bad. Even Daniel understands that. My biggest thing has been that refugee application should not be allowed from India, because you cannot be, India is not that bad anymore. This is not the 1970s, 60s India. You should plan to go back to India. Whatever help is needed, I'll help you out in India. But first of all, you have to plan to go back to India. Do not do anything stupid. You're married, you have a wife, you have a family. You are responsible for other people in your life too. I empathize with you, but do not take any silly step in, and do not because always remember, when you're married, it's not just about you, it's about your extended family. It's about your wife, about your wife's parents, it's about your parents, it's about a lot of people. So please try to understand. Don't take any rash decision. Just go back to India and we'll try to sort it out. But I had to share this day. It was just heartbreaking. I got this email in the morning. This is the other side of this immigration scam.
Yeah. Well,
it's just, and I have never cursed anyone more in my life than Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh. All of these things happened because of those two. All of these things.
there was other players in the Navdeep Bains, Ahmed Hussein played a huge role in it. Yeah, Mark Miller as well. Yeah. There's 10 more people you should hate at least. We'll talk about it afterwards. Yeah, I'll increase your list. That's too small of a list.
It's just it's ridiculous. Every time, and there are so many that I can't help. So many, like beyond a point. I'm a human being. I try my level best, like the horror stories of the girls getting sexually trafficked every single time, whether it's Surrey, whether it's Mississauga, whether it's Brampton. Because they're so, I just don't understand this desperation to come to Canada. I have never understood it. It's not like, you know what the irony of it all is? I now meet people who say, I feel safer in India than in Canada, in Surrey. That's the irony of it all. And it just breaks my heart that we have to go through these things. So once again, to whosoever who had written, because it was sent to me from an Proton email, they clearly wanted to hide their identity. And I understand and I respect that. But please don't be stupid. Please don't be stupid. Just don't. Anyways, before we wrap up, is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Is there anything I want to talk about? I'm happy with how the Blue Jays are doing. Go team. I'm enjoying watching the highlights sometimes at night. Yeah, the baseball. It's like our version of cricket. So,
man, I don't know. I never got into baseball. I tried, but I'll tell
you, when I get back to Toronto, we'll take another shot at the Jays. Like I tried cricket. I'll be your baseball guru. I couldn't watch cricket without you. We'll try and do I'll try and watch it. Here's what we'll do. I watch the cricket game. I'll be watching cricket. At some point, we'll have to watch a baseball game together so we can have the definitive East-West cricket sports baseball analysis podcast.
So you know what we did? A friend of mine, who used to go to school with me, like York University, and we just were. By the way, we need to go and eat those chicken wings. What the hell was that place's name, man? It was. I like the chicken wings there. I'll give you the name. Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
People say I don't care, and this is not a paid promotion. All Star Wings. I love the chicken wings there.
I'll promote Dust. I like Dust better. This is Toronto institution.
So yeah, it's just crazy. All Star Wings, and we were watching the game there. But I didn't understand baseball. That's the problem.
I'll teach you. Yeah. I can convert it to cricket now. Just how I had to convert cricket from baseball or baseball to cricket, I can reconvert.
I understand hockey, but the Maple Leafs suck.
Well, hockey is an easy game to understand. It's basic netball score thing concept, right? It's soccer, handball, hockey. It's the same basic concept of get thing in net 4 point water polo. It's that basic thing. Baseball's a completely different scoring system. So I'll take you to a baseball game. All right, that's what we've decided for the end of the podcast. Is I will try and teach Kushal baseball in the way. That
Oh,
he
I
taught
don't
me
mind
cricket.
going into a game, like a physical live
Yeah.
game. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
We'll
We'll
go
go to a
and
Jays
watch
game.
it.
We'll go to a Jays game.
Yeah, somebody says, change my mind. I don't want Canada. Trump was. Okay, somebody has said, Sharnaz Irani, hi guys, how do I contact y'all? Very simple. You have all the details, whether it's Daniel's X ID, my Twitter ID, X ID, my email ID, everything is there in the description of this podcast. Whosoever has asked this question, you can contact us, and whatever your question is, we will answer over there. If you want to send donations to Daniel, I have kept the link of Daniel's PayPal in the description of the podcast. You can send your donations to Daniel over there. If you want to send donations to me, there are two options. One is UPI, kushalmehra at icici. Interac Canada, the email ID is kushalmehra81@gmail.com. And if you want to join the membership program, you can join it on YouTube or on Patreon. That's a small monthly membership program. If you can't do any of that, well, it's very simple. Like this video, subscribe to the Cārvāka podcast on YouTube, leave a comment. The entire videos of Daniel and I are in a separate playlist called Canada, so you can go check out all the videos over there. And if you're an audio listener, please leave a rating in your on your preferred audio platform. Until then, this is Daniel Prodman and Kushal Mehra signing off. Take care. Bye bye.